Okay, we are doing problem number 4, which is on one-dimensional arrays. And here is the setup for problem number 4. And let's just uncomment this. So we're going to get an error here on reverse. And according to the instructions, what I need to do is take this one. So take Larry here and swap it with Ringo over here. And then take Curly and swap it with George, and then take Mo and swap it with Paul. And because there's an odd number here, the middle one remains unchanged. And if I do that, notice that you only need to go halfway through, because if I swap this with this, then I'm basically doing the first half while I'm doing the last half. And if I were to go all the way from the beginning to the end and swap Larry and Ringo, then by the time I got to the end, I'd have Ringo here and Larry here, and then when I swapped them, I'd be right back where I started. So you only need to go halfway through. If it's an even number, let's say that John was not here and there were 6 items, well then I do exactly half, 3 and 3. Swap the first 3 with the last 3. If there's an odd number like 7, I just divide by 2 and get rid of, basically do integer division and get 3 again, and I'll swap the first 3 with the last 3, and the one in the middle will remain unchanged. So let's go down here, and this function does not return anything, so it's going to be static void, and it's called reverse. And we're going to pass in a string array. It's a one-dimensional array, so just a pair of brackets, no comma. And let's call it names here, just like we did above. So clearly what I need here is a for loop that goes halfway. And remember to do a swap. If I want to swap Larry and Ringo, if I copy Larry to Ringo, then Ringo is gone and there's nothing to put back over here. So before I can copy something to Ringo, I got to save Ringo in a temporary location, then put Larry over here, and then take the Ringo that I saved and push it up here back where Larry was. So I need a separate variable to hold one of the strings while I'm doing a swap. Anytime you do a swap, regardless of what is your swapping, you're going to have a temporary, it's going to take 3 instructions, you're going to have a temporary storage area. So we'll just call this temp, and then we'll have a for loop, and we'll just do I equals 0. I is less than names.length divided by 2. It's divided by 2. And then I plus plus. Okay? And then it's just a matter of doing a swap, which is 3 assignment statements. So temp is going to be equal to names divide. Okay, so I'll save that, and then I can write on top of it. And you know what? I need one other variable here. I need another integer variable that will keep track of where I am on this end of the array. So I'm going to start off with 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0 and 6, and then 1 and 5, and then 2 and 4. So I need to have another integer variable, and we'll call that j, and that will count down from the other direction. And it's going to be equal to names.length semicolon. So if there are 7 items in the array, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And actually, I think I want to subtract 1 from that because my indexes go from 0 to 6. Okay, so I save what's at position I, which is the number, or the item on the low end here, items of 0 the first time through the loop. And then what I want to do is I can write what's on the back end of the loop into what's at the front end of the loop. So the front end of the loop is names sub I, and it's going to get what is in names sub j, and then names sub j is going to get whatever was in temp. Okay, and then the I gets incremented automatically as I go through here. J needs to get decremented, and I could either do that here, or you don't see this very often, but you can actually do 2 things up here at the bottom of your loop. So we'll do the incrementing of I and the decrementing of j up here, And that should do it. That's all there is to it. Just a little for loop that goes halfway through, and then a swap. So let's go ahead and run this now. And so it's right now it's Larry, Curly, Moe. Actually, we'll print them first, and so we'll know what they are, and then we'll reverse them, and then we'll print them again. So let's go ahead and run this, and let's take a look at our output. Okay, so it is Larry, Curly, Moe, and down here it's reverse Larry, Curly, Moe, and then it's John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and John, Paul, George, and Ringo. So it reversed them. And if we were to call that again, and then print the names again, let's run that, and we should be back where we started. If you reverse it twice, you're right back where you started out. So Larry, Curly, Moe, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, we're right back where we started. So that's good. Okay, and that is problem number 4. And actually, I think problem number 5 might be a really short one, so I think I might put that in. Yeah, we're just going to write the declaration for a structure called book record. And so my declaration should go up here. There's even a nice little comment for it. And it's going to be a struct, and it's going to be called book record. Okay, let's try that again. And everything in here is supposed to be public. And I'm going to have a string called title. I'm going to have string, oops, got to make them public. And we have a publication year, which is an integer. And that also has to be public. Okay. So that is our struct declaration. And then we want an array of those called book. So if I want an array of book records, I just say book record. And I make an array by putting the brackets. And then equals, I'm sorry, the name of the array is going to be books. And it is going to be equal, we'll just initialize it right here. And it's going to be a new book record with 20 elements in it. And then write the code that will display in the output window 3 elements of the 5th book in the array. So that'd be at location 4. Okay. Now I don't have anything in here that puts stuff in the array, so I will do books 4 dot author equals, whoops, that's going to be a string. Books. Okay, why does it not like books? New book record 20. Okay, title, author, year. It's an array. What doesn't it like here? An object reference is required for the non-static field. We need to put static in front of this because it's a console program. Okay. Now, if I go down here, I'm thinking my error should be gone, and it is. So now we can do book to 4 dot title equals Bible and dot year equals the year 0. Okay. And now I want to print, I'm sorry, write title author and 4, here, and we should get all those values up there, the Bible and God and the year 0. Let's run it. And we get Bible, God, and 0. So that is the end of the practice test. If you can do all of these things well, and you understand exactly what you're doing with the arrays and the files and the strings, then you should be in good shape for the actual test.